Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard! Kai Havertz in the Champions League final! Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him, but it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver! Matic takes the net off!
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
I don't think we've ever used the breaking news sound drop so much in an episode. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. And you listener, I know you love when I say that, so welcome back in. I'm joined in the virtual room filled with some lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Chris. And what were your moments from the weekend, team?
Do you know what? I actually had quite a nice weekend up until 4:30 on Sunday.
Oh, no.
If we just discount anything from 4:30 on Sunday onwards, I actually had an all right weekend. Quite a chilled Saturday, watching a bit of football. Played Sunday morning, home debut, new team, won 2-0. Played semi, still recovering from that. But I had quite a good weekend, like I said, till 4:30 on Sunday.
That's fair. That is fair. Ollie, 4:30 didn't spoil your weekend. I can just sense.
I managed to stay in, and not get myself locked out of my flat this weekend. That was probably my highlight.
Congrats.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's something that's quite difficult for me not to do. So,
Always take your keys with you, folks. That's what the lesson is here. You know what? For me, I always try to pick something football related, but I got nothing in the bank. There is nothing there. It's dry. So it'll be just a personal thing. I walked the Malverns on Friday. I made some lovely egg custard tarts on the Saturday. Then instead of chilling on Sunday, I let Craig David down and I drove to Stratford. And that was bloody beautiful. It was it was a very fucking good weekend for me.
That sounds nice.
It was really nice.
It does sound a nice weekend.
Yeah, it's better than locking myself out the house. I've done it myself. If you want this story, you don't, but I'll say it. I've gone to my car, gone to unlock it and realised I didn't have the keys in my hand, even though I've remembered to lock the front door with an imaginary key. I have done that. I don't know at what point did I think I'm just losing it. I've actually locked, because I remember going, but I locked the front door. Yeah, but I didn't have a key in my hand, did I? Oh, that's embarrassing.
Wow.
An imaginary key is like, this will work.
it's so easy to do stuff like that on autopilot, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty bad. Right, time to hit some news. Oh dear, I was going to say there's a roundabout transfer news, but there isn't. The Joao Felix and Gallagher saga is still going on. Lukaku, apparently there's an official bid in now. It'll happen. It might not. I don't know. Something will happen. The one thing there is actual news is that as the team sheet yesterday hit the press and social media were tweeting about it, there was a statement put out at the same time by the representatives of Raheem Sterling, now known as a camp, which I spoke off air with Chris, that Ilkay Gundogan's camp has spoke to City. I love the camp. There we go. Not agents, camp, whatever. Anyway, it seems that this statement was made, but the Mail chose to release it yesterday. They had it, yeah, whatever. I don't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
The statement was still made, so that's what it was. So here is said statement. If you haven't caught up, listener, Raheem Sterling is contracted to Chelsea Football Club for the next 3 years. He returned to England 2 weeks early to conduct individual training and has had a positive pre-season under the new coach, who he has developed a good working relationship with. He is committed, as ever, to delivering at the highest level for Chelsea Football Club and the fans, who he holds in high regard. And given his inclusion in official club pre-match material this week, our expectation was that Raheem would be involved in this weekend's fixture in some capacity. As a camp, we've always had positive dialogue with and assurance from Chelsea FC in relation to Raheem's future with the club. So we look forward to gaining clarity on the situation. Until then, we will continue to support Raheem's desire to start the new season positively. I have thoughts, but I'd love to hear yours. Ollie, come on, you did go on.
Yeah, well, because I don't think I reacted to this in the same way that a lot of other people did. I actually thought it was quite a smart thing for Sterling to do.
Oh, okay.
because the way I'm thinking about it is this way: is he's come out there, and I don't think he should have done it before the game. Like I don't think it should have come out before the game, for what it's worth. But what he's done there is he effectively issued a pretty non-combative, preaching all the good things about communication and working together and collaborating and that sort of thing, about ways to move forward. So it's pretty non-combative in that sense. He's basically saying, I don't have any problems with anybody. This is just the situation, and I'm putting it out there for clarity. If now we see headlines that come out about Sterling in some capacity, like the club try and do with other players that they're trying to sell, we then know that's nonsense. Because Sterling's already come out and gotten out in front of this. So, like, it's partially kind of a smart move from Sterling's camp.
Yeah, I see your point. I do love how Maresca's actually shown some balls in his first few months. I mean, they're firmly on full display. We had Chilwell, and then we've had this. And from what I've read and seen, he has been honest. He's been straightforward, and he's not afraid to make, let's be honest, controversial changes. I kind of feel like I'm slotting in with the Micah Richards and Daniel Sturridge on this side, and Jamie Redknapp, because I feel like this statement nonsense. It just made Sterling look a bit foolish. It kind of gave me like Joe Hart and Michael Owen, in the sense of he peaked really early in his career, but he's not been able to keep that sustained brilliance from those early days, because realistically, if we're honest, I know it's cruel, but his best years are behind him. And he hasn't had an England call-up in 2 years. He's brought up he wants to be in the squad. I don't see who he'd replace, if I'm honest. And Maresca shrugged it off as a technical decision. I kind of feel that was a polite way of saying, we don't want you. I mean, look, it could light a fire in Sterling. But when a statement like that drops, I just feel like Sterling should have... I don't know. We don't know the ins and outs of if the Mail were told to release it then or whatever. It was clearly put forward, this statement. I mean, it delivered the impact it did, and another distraction off the field. But I don't know. I just think you should just let your feet do the talking, not your agents. But I don't know. Chris, come on, help me out.
I agree with Ollie. I think Sterling's been quite clever here. I think it's a case of, I don't think necessarily Maresca has dropped him. I think he was told by people higher up that Sterling is someone that they want to get rid of, so don't include him. Maresca obviously being the yes man he is, what has gone along with that. So Sterling now is seeing this as he's going to be the next one to be forced out. He doesn't want to go. So he's got out in front of it thinking, well, I'm not having a release statement saying they've offered me this and I've it down, or I've been refusing to train, or any of that nonsense that the club do tend to put out when they want to sell a player. He's basically very publicly came out and said that he wants to stay.
He's on 325 grand. Now, you would, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, anything that comes out now is nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, like, because from Raheem's perspective, I don't know. It just makes sense to do something like this, because we've seen what putting your head down, ignoring the media, ignoring the rumors, like we've seen where that gets you with Gallagher. You still get sold anyway. The fans get turned against you anyway. Yeah, and Chilwell. The fans turn against you anyway. So, like, I get why people are saying that Sterling shouldn't have done this, but, like, what else is he supposed to have done?
The thing is, though, as well, I think from Sterling's point of view, I think he has every right to be annoyed about being left out of the squad. Is he the best player in the world? No. Is he still at the same level he was? No. Is he 10 times the player Mykhailo Mudryk is? Yeah. And yet Mudryk on the bench for no reason whatsoever, having offered absolutely nothing in pre-season at all, by the way. So the fact that Mudryk was on the bench and Sterling wasn't, I think, a crime anyway. So as a player, I would be pissed off in that situation as well. Sterling had a much better pre-season than Mudryk did, and yet Mudryk gets in the squad and he doesn't. He's saying that he's had all these positive talks with Maresca, which is great, and then Maresca's turned around and dropped him straight away. The old saying, if you pick a fire, you get burnt. I think Maresca's got to be very careful here, because he's playing a very dangerous game if he doesn't win matches. You don't come into a team if you're a manager with no clout behind you whatsoever, by the way, he's won nothing. Absolute diddly squat. It's like David Moyes walking into Man United. Won fuck all, mate. So these players don't instantly respect you because why should they? And he's walked in and he's alienated big characters in the dressing room. Ben Chilwell, vice captain, publicly said that he should leave, which is another daft move. He's then done this with Sterling. Oh yeah, we've had really positive talks, used him in pre-season, then first game of the season gone, nah, don't want him more. The Gallagher situation, the Chalobah situation. It's such a risky game to play if results don't come, because those players, if they're still there come September 1st and they're being treated like this, it only takes us to lose a couple of games and those players will be talking to the other players about, don't think this manager's all that. And before you know it, that spreads on the dressing room's gone, and by the end of October, so will Maresca be.
I feel our ownership want to move away from that whole 22-23 window, because you look at
that's what I think. Yeah,
look at the signings.
Get rid of Carney as well.
Yeah, look at the signings from cheapest to most expensive. Now we had Slanina, that's not gone well. Joao Felix was a loan, but we don't know about that, so we'll leave that there. David Datro Fofana, they want him out. Aubameyang's gone. Andre Santos, we don't know much. We've only seen him on loan. Very good. I'm still high hopes on him. Cassidy, well, he's going to be sold. Chukwuemeka, we think will be sold. Gusto, quite a good bargain. Great player. Madueke, well, we got the impression that he was potentially up for sale, but hopefully he doesn't. Badishil, his stock's fallen. Koulibaly, sold. Sterling, obviously, we've talked on. Kukurea, well, thankfully, that's turned up all right. Mudryk, yeah. Fofana, again, he hasn't been able to stay fit, so maybe he'll be really good this year. We don't know. And then, of course, Enzo Fernandez. So, I don't know. I feel that's the window of it, not great.
In my view, they're like Carney Chukwuemeka, who they bought really early on and was on quite a lot of money for his age. Trying to get rid of him. Like when you look at it from like the perspective of sort of squad building and then the operational expenses that they're trying to like lower everyone's wages, right? So Sterling is kind of on the periphery of the team. He's on 325k a week. He's got to go. Chilwell, for a lot of the same reasons, he's on 200 plus k a week, I think, and he's on the periphery of the squad, isn't playing. Kukurea and Vega are over him, so he's got to go. Carney Chukwuemeka apparently can't stay fit. It's on quite a lot of money for his age. He's got to go. So like there seems to be a pattern for me of them continuing to do this, and that's why like this news coming out about Sterling is, I don't know, that they were looking to maybe move him on, and then Sterling's come out with the statement he's come out with. Like I don't know, I can't really blame him, to be honest, because he's trying to protect his interests at the end of the day.
I'd like to point out, thank you, Mr. Romano, for tweeting this now and not in 2 hours' time. So Chelsea are now closing in on the Joao Felix deal. Final stages. It's going to be sealed. It's done.
Yeah.
And there's a better one. You can all celebrate. Napoli are very close to signing Lukaku.
Well, that's good at least.
He's a leaving. And we move.
That's another 300k off the books, by the way.
It is. That's a lot of money. He did take a pay cut, though, for that new deal, if I remember right. True. So, match report sponsored by, for me, wasn't that bad. Chelsea 0, Man City 2. Winners and losers. We kick off with the winners, as always. Who do you got? Who you got? Who you got? How many you got? I've got 3. I got 3 for 3 today.
I got 3 and 4.
Whoa. Hold up. Chris,
yeah, I know.
You've done 3. I know you have. Come on.
No, I've only got 2, mate. Well, to be fair, I've got winners. I've got 1.5.
Oh, God.
And losers, I've got 3, but 2 of them.
Bloody
one
hell.
of them is a double. So technically, I suppose I've got 4.
Wow, I'm just going to go straight in my one winner, because I know some people going, he weren't a winner. He was to me, and that's all that bloody matters. I got Kukurea because he pocketed Doku so well that Doku had to switch sides because he couldn't get the better of Kuku. And for me, I think that makes you, because he's really good. I mean, Salvino, he was good. He did get the better of Kukurea, but to be fair, overall, I thought Kukre was fine. I didn't think he put a foot wrong, if I'm honest.
I thought, especially in the first half, he had a good game.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned that he came off with, we don't know, knee, hamstring, cramp. I don't know yet. No one's.
It looked like a mix of cramp and hamstring, didn't it? Like, might have just pulled something a little bit. So, hope he feels better soon. But actually, yeah, I thought he was locking up everybody largely before that. Yeah, maybe he's been beaten once or twice, but he won a lot more than he lost. I thought, and I thought he was one of the players I think who came out of that game who could hold their head up.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Chris, I'd like to know who your first winner is.
Your only full winner.
1.5.
My only full winner is Lavia.
I've got him as well.
Yeah, he was on mine.
Fair play.
Yeah, I thought he stood out in our midfield. It's not the highest bar to stand out in our midfield, but I think he's been the best thing that's came out of the summer for being back fit and actually performing on the pitch. Thought he did a lot of good things. The only concern I would have about Lavia is he didn't do a lot of breaking up play. I thought he was very good on the ball, but he didn't do a lot of breaking up play, which is something that I still think we're going to miss. And people said that he was one who was going to come in and do that, and he didn't do a lot of that. But I thought on the ball, he was really good. And it's not always easy against Man City to stand out in an area of the pitch they crowd on the ball. So I was actually happy with his first Premier League start for us.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. He excites me because he look
another one
quality.
He was another one that sort of kind of limped off when he went off. So I think I hope he's all right as well because yeah, he was definitely the difference maker in our midfield, which I think against the Man City side, is quite a compliment, to be honest. I think that you've got to credit the kid. He's come back, and ever since he's been fit and available to play, he's played well. So
he looks good, and now he's back fully fit. He can play football, and I can't wait to see what. I'm really excited for him. I am. Chris, who's the half?
I've got Enzo Maresca.
Interesting. Why is that? Why is he only a half winner? And what is the half?
Because he's a winner, because he managed to lower people's expectations and standards so much with such a dog shit pre-season that people losing 2-0 to a Man City team in first gear is a good result. And the only reason people think it's a good result is because, let's face it, every single one of us went into the game thinking we're going to beat 4-0 today. And then when we didn't, everyone's gone, that was all right.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's done a great job there of bringing the standard down so low that we could only do better.
But does the context not matter a bit?
No.
Not at all. For me,
it depends what context you're talking about, because this is a Man City team. I'll be honest, that's probably the worst I've seen Man City play in 3 years, and they beat us at walking pace. It looked like a pre-season game. I didn't see Man City players sprint once because they didn't have to.
I don't think there was much fitness going on, but I also, maybe this is indicative of what you're talking about, but I thought realistically we had a fair few chances throughout the game. Probably should have scored at least one or two. Did all right in some moments. Not amazing, not absolutely awful, but all right. And against a Man City team, but we've got a lot higher to rise than they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement. And I'm trying to take that as the positive, I guess.
But this is a Man City team who their manager has openly admitted isn't ready for the start of the season.
Yeah, but that could be tactical, just nonsense.
Most of their players had no pre-season at all. Most of their pre-season games, they played kids. Almost none of that team played in their pre-season fixtures.
But even still, look at the team. You got the best striker in the world who played.
Exactly.
You got some of the best defenders in the world.
And they didn't have their best player. If we played that exact same game, that same fixture in October, that Man City team batters us.
Maybe you're right, but at the same time, you can only play what's in front of you. And given the strength of their team versus the strength of our team, I thought it wasn't the worst result, to be honest.
You know what? That's why on my winners, and I still don't know if it's fans or what. I've just got Chelsea because I've got a reason. I felt we played decent. And Chris has actually touched on this, which is really awkward. But I've put our expectations were low. And that was just from what the eyesight test had shown us during the preseason against City. But I wouldn't say we were comfortably beaten. We weren't outplayed together, like completely. We did hold our own. And look, not every team we're going to play is going to be the best in the country, because they are, whether we like it or not.
But Man City, after they scored the first goal, literally didn't try after that. They could have gone up 2 or 3, even 4 gears if needed to. But they did. This was if you watch Man City a lot, this is exactly how they play against Crystal Palace, Fulham. They'll get a goal and then they just knock the ball around, conserve energy. And until that team start getting on top and they think, oh, actually, we might be in trouble here, we might need a second, then they normally go and get it. And that's exactly what happened. They knocked the ball around. They played very conservatively. They saved energy. And then when we had that 5 minutes where it looked like we might get back into the game, they went and scored a second goal. That's what Man City do.
I kind of came away from it thinking I was harsh on my prediction.
It was watching Man City against a mid-table team. That's exactly what it was. You'll watch them in a couple of weeks against, I don't know, Brighton away, and you'll think, oh yeah, I see what you mean. That's how they play. They don't use up pointless energy. They don't go and try and steamroller teams if they don't have it. That's why they're always so good in the second half of the season, because they've saved so much energy in the first half.
I can see where you're coming from with that. I mean, Ollie, who's your final winner?
Final winner was Wesley Fofana. I actually thought he had quite a good game. There was a few times where he got into a sprinting match with Doku and he won that. There was a few sort of like defensive moments where actually he really shone. It's nice to know that he seems to be doing all right. Because there was this sort of very big looming question mark over how's he going to be with the intensity of the Premier League coming back into it. No, wasn't the most intense game. It's the start of the season, and it'll all go up a level again. But it was a good sign, I thought.
Yeah, he loved getting into the physical battle with Haaland. I mean, that is his first.
He came away with the ball a lot. He did all right.
That was his first appearance since May of 23 competitively for us. I mean, that in itself is like, you could see the injuries that we have. Like, bloody hell. I mean, that's just, oh, well, it's incredible. It's on such bad luck, but well, we don't know. Well, anyway, losers, which is going to be fun for everyone. I feel I might have to strike one of my losers off because I don't think it's right, but anyway, I'm not going to go for the obvious one. I'm going to kick it off with someone that's definitely on all our lists. Is it Robert Sanchez?
It is.
Chris?
No, he's not on mine because I knew someone else was going to bring him up.
I will tell you why he's on my list.
He is absolute shit though, by the way.
I'll tell you why he's on my list. He did okay. Hear me out. I will state that because he did make a top class save to deny a goal, and I'm going to give him that. Did. It was a good save. I was still going to give credit.
Yeah.
However, on a second watch, I now feel, so you can enjoy this as I eat my humble pie, I think he could have done a bit more on that first goal. So enjoy that birth, Chris, Ollie. You can all enjoy that. I can shut up and eat my humble pie on that. But it's the second positioning was not great. What was worse was the attempt he made to save it, because he got a hand to it. And if you get a hand to it, you've got to save it. But his wrist went limp. And it was 2-0,
wasn't it?
It won't be enough for Jorgensen to just walk into the team. But I still will say that I think all the other 19 starting goalkeepers in the Premier League save that if they get a hand to it.
Yeah.
Because
you know why?
That's the problem.
I'm really worried about our goalkeeper situation, to be honest with you, because we're in that horrible spiral at the moment where players are going to get rotated not because they they prove themselves and have an opportunity to do well. It's because the only other option is so bad that you have to try anything else, and that just doesn't breed confidence in the team.
No.
Yeah, the thing is, like on the second goal, you see some goals from long range normally that the keeper gets a hand to, and people go, "Oh, I think if you get a hand to it, you've got to save it." But sometimes, if a shot's hit hard enough, it doesn't matter if you get a hand on it or not; it's going to go in. Kovacic did not smash that ball. He placed. He's got to save it. I think you could go further. I think any goalkeeper in the top 2 divisions of English football make that save. And Robert Sanchez has somehow managed to palm it into the bottom corner. Not just that, he did that thing again where he passed the ball straight to Kevin De Bruyne in the box.
Yeah,
That's a classic.
And it's like, mate, like everything we said, because I do think as well, another one looked okay in pre-season. People were starting to say, actually, he hasn't been as bad in pre-season as we all
said
expecting.
this on the show, and rightly you said, yeah, but there's no pressure. And then the second there's pressure,
exactly.
He folded.
And then first game, he's fucked it. And it's just another. To be fair, though, it all boils down to who's made that decision. Maresca has made that decision. He wants a goalkeeper in who's good with his feet. Apparently, that means keep passing it to the opposition, and can't make saves because he's got no hands.
Yeah.
So,
Ollie.
Yeah. Oh no.
David Ornstein has tweeted, Chelsea have reached an agreement with Atletico Madrid over the permanent signing of Joao Felix. Personal terms were already in place. He will join on a 6-year contract with an option of another 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
There's no fee. No fee has been mentioned, so I don't know the fee, but there you go.
It'd probably be. I think from what I read, the fee is close to around 30, like in the mid 30s of millions. So it'd be about 10 million per goal he gets for us.
what I don't understand is since they brought in the new rule about you can only split the payment over 5 years, why are we still handing out 6 and 7 year contracts?
Because we've got them tied down. They can't then demand a new wage. Can we go, you're on a 6-year
deal?
deal?
We also can't get rid of them.
That's
if
true.
they're shit.
No one's disagreeing with you there. Well, there we go.
Imagine we are the
honestly.
only club stupid enough to buy Joao Felix.
He must be laughing at getting a 6-year contract offer. He must be thinking, fucking hell, yes, please.
Yeah,
I'm not going to disagree.
Big wage, middle of London. Oh, he's failed upwards.
Just a bit.
Ollie, who's one of your losers before Chris has his time?
I think Chris is probably going to have this loser as well. Enzo Fernandez.
He's on mine.
Yeah, of course I have.
I don't know if it counts, but that should be like an At the Bridge pod.
Trope alert. Trope alert.
Every time we drop Enzo as a loser. Go on, Ollie.
He was just bad, wasn't he? Like, didn't command the game, wasn't a very good captain, didn't recycle the ball well, made one good pass in the whole game. Just not good enough. Against Man City, he's just not good enough.
I mean, first off, I'm sorry, Chris. First off, for me, he should never be our captain. I'm standing by that because look, everything that's gone on, we've talked about it, but you can't just hand him the captaincy like that. I just don't. No, not for me.
No, 100%.
I mean, I'd have given it Colwill. I know he needs to focus on being a top defender, but I'd have given it Colwill. Go on, Chris. What were you going to jump in?
I think I would have gave it to anyone else. But
Sanchez?
You know what it is with Enzo, though? Everything Collie just said. But also, he gives possession away so easily because he is obsessed with trying 60-yard diagonal balls when they're not on. All for the one that comes off because he knows that's going to get on some highlight reel somewhere. I think it was only like 8 minutes into the game. He managed to receive the ball on the left-hand side, facing his own goal on the halfway line, and somehow managed to find Erling Haaland's feet. And I thought, how the fuck have you managed to do that? And then there was one in the second, I think it was still the first half. He received the ball again on the left-hand side, and he tried the first time volleyed switcher play straight into midfield, and then we had 4 Man City players running at the defence. Basically, he's so flash without being able to pull it off that he ends up just giving possession away so comfortably. Against teams like City, to be fair, against most teams in the Premier League, you just can't do it. And do you know what? I'm really glad now that more and more people are starting to turn around and see how much of a bang average player he really is. Don't even get me started on the lack of leadership. No energy, no intensity, nothing from him except for jogging over to close down a centre back that he's never going to get to, and then throwing his arms in the air because no one was coming with him.
The thing is, when we get criticised, and it's fair, everyone's entitled to an opinion about when we talk about Enzo Fernandez. I've got reason to back up. Look, for me, if he wants to start in future games, he has to improve because he was poor in that game. He gave the ball away multiple times. He didn't show much threat for me. And I want to put into context here. This isn't a Chelsea thing. It's at Chelsea. No, he was average at the recent Copa America. And ask Argentina fans, they will say the same. I mean, for all the positives I've seen with Maresca, there is no point shoehorning Enzo into a cam because he can't play there. He is better. Go on, Ollie.
I just find myself saying, what does Enzo Fernandez actually do?
We have an Enzo Fernandez problem.
Because in the midfield, he doesn't win the ball back. He doesn't press properly. He doesn't make good passes most of the time, and he doesn't score goals. So what does he do?
This is the thing. I mean, he is better deeper, but for me, right now, he's not better than Caicedo or Lavia. Straight away. So he doesn't get in the team. And now I'm edging toward the whole, it's failed. The experiment's failed. And it's at the point that if we sold him tomorrow, I'd not be sad. I know but we'd make a loss. I don't care. Because I'd be like, we're not weaker without him.
Yeah, I'm fed up of it. Like Caicedo is a perfect foil for showing how you come through adversity, and you can, through your performances, you can stamp your authority on the team and get the fans on side. And Enzo's done none of that.
Someone had tweeted into the show about when will it take before another manager realises Caicedo and Fernandez can't play together. Exactly. Everyone watched that game and went, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work. Lavia's much better as well.
A stronger manager. He doesn't play. That's the truth.
He's 105 million.
That's the only reason why he's playing.
Yeah.
He's been given the captain's armband, which I imagine is a club decision, not a Maresca decision, is a club decision to make sure that he still plays. Because the reality is they need him to play because they don't want to admit that they wasted 100 million on him, and they're trying their absolute best to PR him into being a player that he'll never be, a leader that he'll never be, in a team that we'll never see.
He is. If we bought him for 40 million, he'd be banished already.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If he was, if he was English, everyone would want him sold.
The thing is, I feel like they can't admit it. Look, you bought a player who had a good World Cup. He didn't win that award for just traveling. He didn't. Well, yeah, traveling with the team. He showed up. He played well. He did get that Golden Boy award. Well, Young Player of the Tournament award because he was bloody good. But you know what? The owners, I think, with this, the 105 million saga and all that, sometimes you fuck up. You screwed it up. Look at Denilson, Sao Paulo to Barabatis. He was a world record fee. He was awful for them. Absolutely awful. You had El Diouf. He had a great World Cup. Went to Liverpool. Yeah. He was awful. You had, who was the other one for Man? Kleberson. He was awful. It happens. You mess up. It doesn't usually cost you over, 3 figures, but it happens. But you can't keep shoehorning the player in and go, it's going to work. It's going to work. It probably won't ever work. And now we have a problem because it's, what do we do?
And it's costing the team.
Yeah. We're weaker when he plays because he hasn't got a position in this squad yet. That's my take on it. Right. Who's got another loser that's not?
I've got 2 left.
Ollie, I want to hear him.
First one is Kiernan Dewsbury Hall.
He's getting a lot of bashing from. I feel like the fans have turned on him already. It's not his fault.
When he came in. Well, first of all, we just signed Joao Felix, so he's basically been a pointless signing. Yeah, but we've basically just brought him in for him to talk to the other players and go, "Oh no, I promise, Maresca was really good at Leicester last season." Yeah, that's literally all we're here for. Because it feels like to me that like he came on the pitch and he's someone who's supposed to know the system. He's supposed to understand what Maresca needs of him, and so should be able to interpret that against any opposition. And we saw that he could do that in the Championship last year. And so far, when he came on against Man City, he came on and Lavia came off, and the midfield totally fell apart. He wasn't getting anywhere near the ball. His passing was sloppy. His attacking was sloppy. His press was sloppy. And I'm like, is this all we're gonna get from him? Like, it just seems to me that like it says to me that maybe it's a bit harsh and a bit quick to say this, but I don't think he can hack it at this level. Based on his previous performances in the Premier League, based on the fact that like he's done like he's in the best possible scenario at a club with much better players than him around him, with a manager who understands who he knows and has worked with before, who understands what he needs to do, like, and he still can't perform. So like, when's it going to change? It's not.
But look, he's coming back from an injury, which apparently he suffered while celebrating the title with the championship title with Leicester. I don't know how true that is. I just feel like there's always seems to be a player that fans bash in general. We had obviously Mount, then it moved to Gallagher, and I feel like Dewsbury Hall's becoming that guy. I think we've got to give him time.
If you're an English attacking midfielder, you've just got no chance.
Just got to give him a bit of time. That's kind of how I feel on it.
Yeah, but like he's one of the only players who shouldn't have needed any time.
Well, if he was injured.
Because but how does that affect? How does an injury affect his ability to use his brain in the same way that he did last year? Like, it just doesn't. Like, I get it. Maybe he's just not fit yet. I mean, it really looks that way. But even if he is fit, it's like I don't think what he's going to offer us is going to be better than what we had last season or what all the other options we've got. Hell, I might even try Joao Felix there ahead of him.
Who's your third or fourth loser, Ollie?
This one is gonna. I don't know how people are gonna think of this one, but I've actually put the fans, and it's not usually when I make the fans losers, it's because they've had to suffer through, a bad experience, and they did. But listen, I get the football's boring. I get it's more than just football. The reason why people do it, I get. Fans who pay have every right to complain and express themselves however they want in the stadium. But for me, booing the first match on the opening day of the season with a new manager against a team who we all know is miles better than us is embarrassing. I think during the 90 minutes of the game, you have to be supporting the team. Singing Gallagher's name helps absolutely no one in that moment. The players aren't going to play any better. The manager isn't going to manage better. The owners aren't going to reverse their decision either. So what does it achieve? Right, it just makes the atmosphere at the bridge shit. We have to we have a support problem in the fan base, and we have to get the time behind the team. We're sitting here after the fact going through losers, and I get that looks a bit funny in hindsight. Me saying support the team after just like going for Dewsbury Hall just now, but during the 90 minutes of the game, I mean, you have to get behind the team because when all other things are equal, support makes a difference.
Yeah,
and there is no support. Right,
look at this. Literally was spoken about by a player. Moises Caicedo said about what it was like playing at home last season. Come on, you can't. I'm with you on that. You can't be booing players on the first game. No, not against City. If we were playing, say it was who's come up, Southampton. If it was Southampton, they were like 3-0 up against us. I'm not accepting it, but I can understand.
People will have their reasons for doing it, and a lot of people are disgruntled at the club and the way the club's being run, and I get it, and I really do understand it. But for me, in the 90 minutes that we're going to be playing football, we should be trying to galvanise the team and push them on and make them do better.
The Bridge was known for its atmosphere in such a positive way. Stop wasting your time on negative. You know how much energy you require to be negative. Be positive. Put it into positive.
The ground's always just so quiet now, and it's so toxic, and it's just like I just wish it was different, and I wish we could do something as a fan base to make it different.
But at the same time, playing devil's advocate here, we weren't saying this in the second half of last season when the team was playing well, winning games.
The atmosphere was it wasn't great.
Our atmosphere is never great because half of it's tourists. Let's be fair. Man United have the same problem. That's the problem, I think, with being a big club in London. I think you get a lot of tourist fans going in. So
I just think everyone could be doing a bit more. I think the club could be doing a bit more. The fans could certainly be doing a bit more. The players probably could be doing a bit more. But I think it's up to everyone to engender an environment that is actually conducive to actually supporting the club and not tearing it down.
I've always said, right, singing Gallagher's name, I think was shoving it in the owner's face. I think more than anything.
I get that.
Was pointless.
Does it?
Yeah. I don't think I've always said I don't think fans in stadiums should be booing individual players and your own team because it's counterproductive. You want them to play better, but you're booing them. Well, that's counterproductive. What I would say is I don't think they was booing individual players. They was booing the fact that we was knocking ball around the back when we're 1-0 down. And it's boring. And this is what I said, and I'd like to point out that I said this right at the start of pre-season. Match-going fans hate possession football because it's fucking boring. You've got nothing to get excited about. There was no one putting a tackle in. Think about it, right? Forget that it's Gallagher for a minute. So everyone forget that I'm talking about Gallagher for a minute. But last season, we had that player who would sprint 20 yards and put in a massive slide tackle. And all of a sudden, the fans are like, yes, we're up, getting behind that.
Yeah.
We don't have that now. We didn't have anyone. I don't really remember anyone making a tackle yesterday, let alone a good one. So there was nothing for the fans to get behind. And if you're not playing quick ball on counter attacks where fans are getting excited because you've got a 3-on-2 that might end in a goal, if you are just knocking it around, there's nothing to get excited about. And this is the problem.
But what I'm going to say to that is, I don't care. I think people should get excited and get behind the team anyway. Give them a reason to do something interesting and exciting that we can all then work on. Like, I think as much as it's on the players.
I was going to time that better than that. It just accidentally clicked to my finger. Conor Gallagher has been authorised by Chelsea to travel to Madrid. All done, and Fabrizio has said, "Here we go." So there it is. It's 42 million fixed euro fee.
Great. Yeah, brilliant. So like, anyway, just going back to what I was saying, I think it's certainly on the players as well to be able to give us something that can lift the fans, that can then push into more support. But when there's nothing and it is stagnant and it is boring, cheer the team, get a chant going, do something.
I agree.
I just think
that's fair.
It's better than doing absolutely nothing. It's better than sitting there with your arms folded, like shaking your head, just muttering to yourself about how it's boring. Like, just
I think
get behind the team, for God's sake.
I think the problem is, though, I think as well, it stems from the fact that I don't think there's many who have a lot of belief in these players, and I think there's even fewer who have a belief in this manager. Wow. And the issue is, if the fans aren't feeling that connection to the team as they go in, when you are losing and you're not doing anything, frustration builds. And I think that's where it comes from. So although it's not right, and I agree, again, it's another thing that's very counterproductive. If your atmosphere is shit, you're going to win less home games because normally that's your home advantage. I can kind of see both sides of it, because I think I would be the same if I'd paid £75 a ticket to go and watch, and then I've got Levi Colwill, which this actually happened, by the way. This isn't a joke. I counted it. Levi Colwill at 1-0 down, taking 14 touches of the ball to then play an 8-yard pass to his centre-back partner. 14 touches he took, and then played the pass that he could have played off 2 touches. That's what the problem is.
I get it, and people have paid, and so I get it. You can do whatever you want when you're at the bridge because you've paid, right? That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But I just think we need, as our fan base, to be able to get more behind the team, because at the moment, the second anything negative happens, the whole stadium goes quiet. Everyone's miserable. Everyone's grumbling, and it just, like, we're never going to get back into a game playing like with a support.
No, that's fair.
You know what? I think we need. I honestly think we need, like, that marquee signing. Maybe Osimhen would be it, because last season I think the turning point.
Felix.
Yeah, I think the turning point last season, I thought, in the atmosphere, even when the performances wasn't great at the bridge, was Cole Palmer. It was a player who united the fan base because everyone behind him. So he excited fans every time he got on the ball. Last season. So even if we was, 1-0 down at home to Wolves, when Palmer got the ball, fans got up. And I think, like, yesterday wasn't great, but I think we're missing that player that everyone can have belief in. You know what I mean? So I think if you put Osimhen in the team and we've got a goal down, but everyone sees that he's up front and he's quite energetic in his style of play, sort of Diego Costa-esque. He likes to put himself about, doesn't mind getting into a fight. I think you need that. You need someone who's going to spark something. And I think that's what we're missing.
Right. Who's your final losers, Chris?
Well, I'll do two quickly. I've got Palmer and Nkunku. I think you seen Cole Palmer yesterday. Not the same player if he's playing in a structured system where he has to be very rigid in what he is allowed to do. Palmer's much better being a player who's just told go play football. He looked shadow of the player that we saw last season.
He looked unfit to me.
Yeah, he didn't look overly fit, didn't look overly sharp, which is understandable. He's only had one pre-season game. And obviously he'll get better because he's a quality player. But I do worry that we're going to take a lot of Cole Palmer away just by saying you have to do this, you can't do that, you can't pick these areas up because you have to be out here. Palmer's just someone who I would honestly just say go play, and we'll put the rest of the team around you. And
Maresca
then
kind of did
I
say that though, like about Palmer.
He did,
he
but
said
then
like
he
the best
didn't do
thing
it.
for that's true. The action is to the
that's
word,
the issue.
not matching.
He put him out on the right hand side and said you got to stay out there. And then Nkunku I felt really sorry for because he had a really good pre-season playing in a certain position. It gets to the only game that matters and he puts him on the left where he's not as good, which made no sense.
And the whole squad planning
keeping
there really
him there
annoys me.
Yeah, keeping him there was even worse.
Yeah, because he's
That
not
was
a
the
left
issue.
winger and he's not a striker,
No.
so he kind of has to play as that one of those number 10s or number 8s, whatever you call them. We've just bought Joao Felix to do the exact same thing. So we had a problem before, and now we've got twice as much of the same problem.
Yeah.
Right, go on, Chris. You got one more.
My final loser is Enzo Maresca. He's made both lists. Well done. Didn't really see anything different from pre-season. Same problems that we had in pre-season was there. Yes, we put together some okay patterns of play. We created a couple of chances.
Couple of decent chances where probably we could have done a bit better.
But the Jackson offside one that he scores is an Edison mistake. It's not a chance created. Palmer's took a pot shot from the edge of the box and the keeper's spilt it. It's hardly a chance created. Edison could have made my losers list. He was that bad yesterday. And then the Jackson one, the sort of swivel volley from inside the 6-yard box, probably should do better with. It's not an easy chance though, because I don't think he particularly knows where the goal is. And again, it was a scramble that came out and Lavia just headed it back in. We had a lot of nearly moments in the final third, but do you know what it was? It was back to where we was probably 12 months ago, right at the start of Poch's reign, where we were saying that we were struggling to score goals because our final ball isn't good enough. It was exactly again. We worked some really good areas, but the final ball was shit. So what should have been a chance wasn't a chance. And I just think his team selection made no sense. Madueke, probably one of the standout players in pre-season, got no minutes whatsoever. But that made no sense. He stuck Nkunku into a position he didn't play all pre-season. That made no sense. He's put Enzo Fernandez as a 10. That makes no sense. He dropped the inverted fullback thing. Again, that's what we've done all pre-season, and he gets to the first game that matters and decided.
It really is like under Poch, didn't it? It really is like under Poch, isn't it? Because he abandoned all his principles for the first however many months as well.
But I mean, at least Poch had the excuse of he had some injuries. Maresca's he had everyone who had played his way in pre-season available, and then he dropped it all. And I just didn't understand it. I thought his in-game was bizarre. How Enzo Fernandez stayed on the pitch, but Nkunku came off, made no sense whatsoever.
Agreed.
Like I said, Madueke not getting any minutes made no sense. I just don't think it was a great introduction to the Premier League. And then he's on my losers list mainly for what he said after, because I have never heard a manager talk so. If people didn't like Graham Potter, they're not going to like Maresca because he came out afterwards and he said everything that Graham Potter would have said, except for the boys gave everything.
Gave everything in the game.
If he said that, he would have just been Graham Potter 2.0. Come out saying the performance was there and that's all what matters. No, it isn't. And speaking like a proper mid-table manager. If he was in charge of Leicester yesterday and he'd lost 2-0 at home to City, in the exact same game, I think you could have gone, yeah, fair enough, that's a decent result for Leicester. But you're at a bigger club now, mate. Standards are a lot higher here. You can't be coming out going, oh, well, I thought we played okay. That's all what matters, really. Well, you're going to have to start getting some results at some point.
I don't think we're like. I think a lot of people might have expected us to just magically go up a level, like from preseason. Like, no, we lost to City by 2 goals in preseason, and we've lost to them.
Yeah, I expected us to lose
by 2 goals in this game. I'm not sure what. But I guess that's where I'm coming from with people who are being overly negative about this. Is like my expectations weren't that high for this game anyway. I thought we were going to lose.
Yes, that's true.
So at the same time, it's like, how can I don't know, and I guess by that metric we did all right. But yeah,
right, it's back. Emoji game review. I'm going to start the season off with a homage to Chris. It's the Chris shrug, because I wasn't annoyed, I wasn't overjoyed. But it was better than I thought. So it really does feel like to me like, nah, yeah. Ollie?
I'm going with the mountain emoji because we have a long way to go.
Okay, Chris?
I'm going to go with, the 2 arrows pointing at each other because that's what we are stuck in the middle.
Oh, no. All right. Okay, this one's going to be, we move then to Lion of the Week. Because our Lions from the weekend, I had Nkunku, Berth had Jorgensen, Chris had Caicedo, Ollie had Palmer, the wheel chose Jorgensen, and we are keeping a track of this.
That's 0 for 5.
So, no winners then.
Yeah, that's
okay,
0 for
so
5.
No winners, but who was the actual Lion? Who do you think was the best out of everyone?
Lavia,
right. Lavia's going on the list. He's top of the leaderboard. It's not hard. 1 game in. But of course, we move in to a midweek Lion because we're welcoming Shevva to the bridge. So I need some picks.
Do you know what?
I don't know. I was struggling when I was thinking about this before.
Must win.
Show because because I don't know who he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to want to stick with the similar players and go again and
it's
try
weird,
and force it through, or if he's going to think actually no, the lads probably need a bit more of a rest before things kick off against Wolves and they need time to prepare for that. So I don't know. I'm going to go with someone who I think will play. I'm going to go with Tosin.
Wow. Okay. Chris.
It is tough because I'm with Ollie. I don't know what team he's going to pick. I don't think he can afford to pick a weak team because, my God, if we was to lose at home to Shevva.
That's what I think.
Jesus.
I think partially you've got to pick a pretty strong team because if nothing else, you've got to batter them in the first leg and then just play the kids in the second.
Can I just apologise?
Exactly.
I'm so stupid. Ollie, what was the name? Because I didn't write it down. Just zoned out.
Tosin.
That's really bad of me. Go on. Sorry, Chris. I just got his name, meant to write it.
One of the changes I think he will make, though, I'll go with Mark Gue.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with him because I think Jackson will probably not fit enough to play 2 games in a week, having only just come back from an ankle injury. I think he will play and he'll run around a lot. So I think that could carry me to the win here.
You know what? I've gone Palmer. Because I feel that's a smart move. That's bad. I was going to put Jorgensen, but that's never a good thing for keepers. A winner.
Realistically, we have to be beating them, don't we? They're named after napkins.
I feel the wheel
should be at least.
I'm happy with the wheel. They've gone Renato Vega. I think that's actually a really good shout.
I was thinking about him, but I don't know if he's going to play. It was 50-50 for me because if he thinks he's not ready, then I don't know. Maybe he'll play. Maybe he will. They're a Swiss team, aren't they? And he's from the Swiss league. So
depends if Kukure is injured.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
True.
It is time for Quaresma's questions. I said that we had a lot, and we do. as I get my phone out and tell you. So there's just this like quick fire. So 73 brains have said, how can we have seven goalkeepers on the books and our first choice is Sanchez? I think that's fair.
Because we have more money than sense.
Yeah.
Because Maresca hates Petrovic.
Rubicon has said, are we going to be 10th this year?
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
Wow.
Yes, Olive.
10th.
No, I think we'll do a little better than that.
Did the Paulie has asked, did the performance show enough to ease the pain of the goals and result?
Yeah,
No.
I would say so.
Well, I feel like the general vibe of this show was just another. No. Right. Vic, how you guys feel about Enzo Fernandez being one of the captains? I don't like it.
No, not for it.
Not for me.
I'm fuming.
No. That's gonna be a sound drop in itself. Michael has asked, that was so much better than I thought it would be. We can hold our heads high. That wasn't really a question. It was, yeah, but I do agree.
Fucking hell.
No, be nice to him. I will defend this guy.
No. Right. You can.
Oh, no.
Right. Football is an opinion game. You can think that the performance is okay, fair enough. You know, that's your opinion. You cannot say you can hold your heads high.
No.
Oh my God.
I agree with that. I don't think they can hold their heads high. I think they were rightly beaten by a team that is rightly better than them, and so they have to go back and look at that and try and improve from that. I don't think there's much holding heads going on.
Fair enough.
Unless you're holding it in your hand.
Right. Are you Tadiwa has asked, honest opinion, what is Enzo Fernandez actually good at? I genuinely
I said that earlier.
I do not know. Yeah. I wish I knew.
Singing.
And neither 4 managers haven't known, to be fair. So
no. He might play a good game.
Looking brilliant in midfield.
Listen, right. I'll be fair.
Wow.
Technically, he's a good footballer. He's got a good touch. He's got decent passing range. You know, he can play short. He can play long. Picks up good areas to receive the ball off fenders. But he has no impact on a game. And everything he does, you could teach to almost any other professional midfielder.
Right.
He doesn't do anything extraordinary.
Well, this is interesting. So this question's already been answered, but I'll still put it out there. Davidoff said, how do we feel about the Enzo with the armband? Personally, and they put a throwing up emoji. We're all in agreement there. Josh, I feel Josh is, this is at you, Chris, but and he actually put, despite what Chris may think, I feel Enzo moved the ball very well today. Thoughts? Oh, no.
I think very well.
It'll be the highlight reel, won't it? It'll be the highlight reel ones. It'll be like, yeah.
He mostly made passes you would expect him to make. He made one really good pass, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
But moving the ball, I'd just like to say, though, that's fine. Yeah, let's say he moved the ball well. Great.
Moved the ball well.
But everyone slagged Gallagher off last year when he was playing as the number 10. Despite what he did in the game, because he wasn't creating or scoring. Enzo played as a 10 yesterday. He didn't get an assist. He didn't create a chance. He didn't score a goal. He's playing as a number 10. So he didn't do his job yesterday at all.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Right, 4 more. Cole Palmer, just me, or were the Chelsea players passing the ball to anyone wearing blue today? I see what you did there. Well played.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Keith, not the worst game, but how long until Sanchez is benched again? Too many mistakes. I think it won't be long.
I think if he drops a clanger against Servette, he's already benched. I think.
I don't think he starts against Servette. I think Jorgensen does.
I think Jorgensen will start against Servette. Yeah. Sanchez will start against Wolves. Probably make a mistake, and then after that,
I remember we said that. I think we said around like October, November. I said about Petrovic would start, and he did. So it could be the same again. Could be.
I think Sanchez will be number 1 all season.
Oh no! I can't do that. That's that. No,
not a
We're not going to finish 10th.
Right, because again, Maresca's come out and publicly stated that he thinks Robert Sanchez is number 1.
Yeah, he thinks it. He can change. He can change his opinion.
You can't. Yeah, you can't after 2 games.
I think it. It's for me. It's placed squarely on how many mistakes he makes, which makes it inevitable in the end.
I don't think Jorgensen was a Maresca signing either. So I don't know how much he backs him.
I would agree with that.
If you sign a goalkeeper,
the reason I agree with that is because he was our 7th goalkeeper. There's no manager out there going, "No, I need the 7th goalkeeper."
Yeah, the only time you, as a manager, you sign a goalkeeper is to play them.
Yeah. Right. Kayla's asked, can we bring back Old Man Silver? I would say no, because I want you to hear me out, because I like the fact that he now can comment on Instagram and call it Anthony Taylor. I love that so much.
Yeah, actually, unofficial loser, by the way. Anthony Taylor was shocking in that game.
Yeah, I said that if Haaland had drove over a player in a Toyota, he wouldn't have been given a penalty for it. Because
I agree with that. I think some people were making a bit of much of some of the calls we had, but there was, for me, there was at least one which was definitely a penalty. So
yeah, we're so used to Anthony Taylor's being poor. So, and we round out with Isaac, who, Chris, it's about you. How many years did Enzo's performance take off Chris's life expectancy?
About 12, I think.
To be honest with you, none anymore, because I expect him to play like that every game. I'm more surprised now when he plays well.
He might play well against Shevva.
It doesn't annoy me anymore because I just think, yeah, that's what he is.
Between Maresca, Pep, and Anthony Taylor, that was the most bold Premier League fixture of the weekend, most surely.
It was. Expected boldness was off the scale.
Yeah,
expected boldness was at least 3.
Oh wow! Right, there we go. Thank you for listening to this episode. Treat yourself well, listeners. We will be back on Friday, so we might have won against that. We probably would have. But till then, that is going to be us signing off.
You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.